Let's talk with head football coach of your UTSA Roadrunners, Jeff Traylor. Hey, good morning, Coach. Welcome aboard. I hope your Monday's as good as ours.
We're all right. We're licking our wounds over here and trying to get better.
Yeah, Coach. You made it through these first 3 weeks. I know you took some big hits to your offensive line. But overall, after these first 3 weeks of, brutal schedule, how are you all feeling?
I'm looking at the injury report. I got 21 kids out, 6 MRIs this morning, so we'll know a whole lot more after this morning with those MRIs.
21?
21 on the injury list this morning. That's the new record at UTSA.
How many of those were out of your offensive line room?
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm looking at it right here. 7 of them.
Gosh, Coach, I know it's a war of attrition in any season, but when you're looking down at that offensive line there in the third quarter, what do you tell your guys and how do you attack that when you're dealing with second, third, and fourth stringers?
Kids just keep battling. They were not the reason we didn't win the game. They held up. We ran the ball, protected our quarterback. There were a couple of times. Frank's got a little skittish back there, and I don't blame him out there. Sometimes we didn't even need to, as did Eddie Lee. I was really proud of our O-line. Showed up and played, and obviously we lost to Meach on the fourth play of the game, who was going to be our opposite team. It's his first time to play all season, and he went down. So super walk-on. Frankie goes out there. Martinez, he battled his tail off all night.
Yeah, you know what, Coach? You talked about it in the post game. JJ Perez had asked you about it as far as like the win, and we already had a bunch of respect for you, but even more after you said, "Look, it's all fine and dandy, but we want to win the football game, and we believe in this program, and we're not going to really walk around with the torch of the moral victory." Talk about that a little bit. Was that the battle cry? What you told your team after the game?
Well, my players and my staff and everybody in the university, city, that gap I'm talking about. We don't have the depth right now to pass. And I'm not talking about my first. I'm not talking about the top players. Our top players can play with almost anybody. It just becomes a huge drop-off when you got to play Houston, Army, and Texas, which is where I want to get this program. We all want to get there, right? We got to have tremendous depth. So our NIL money's got to increase. The facility's finished. And I understand, Coach, I've got my responsibility. I got to clean some penalties up. I have my responsibility. So we got to get that gap closed. And if we're all walking around patting ourselves on the back, are we ever going to close that gap?
Right.
I'm just telling you, I know my soul, I know my spirit. I'm not going to rest until we get this gap closed.
And it's weekends like this, Coach, that do help to close the gap. When you play in front of 100,000 people, and there was an awful lot of that good color orange in that stadium, it does mean something. And we've talked about this during the show today, coaches, that we're new to this Division I high-level football too, as a city, as a support base, and we've got to be trained that we've got to play a role. Kids going to go play, they're going to go to class, they're going to do their job. But if we want to be where we want to be as fans of a D1 high-end program, it doesn't come without a bit of sacrifice, and some of that's financial. There is a bit of training, and I appreciate the fact that every time you've got a microphone in front of you, you bring that fact up. But I mean, the wins, they play a role, but it is in fact a huge part for the alumni to jump in and kind of bridge that gap to bringing in and helping those kids make the UTSA decision that much easier. My question for you, Coach, is you talked about the difficulty starting this season and the 3 different teams, the different ways they all played. How much good does it teach your second, third stringers to go in and play in Austin and square off against those 5-star dudes and control that line of scrimmage? How much of that can you take with you and carry forward despite the loss?
Well, I just think we're past that point as far as our players and our coaching staff.
Right.
We're past it. We just don't see it that way anymore. We really believe we belong on the field. If we can survive these 21 injuries and keep MRIs, we're going to be just fine. We're battle tested. We're ready to go in anybody's building, anywhere in the country, and play real football. It's just today's going to be a big day when you take the MRIs back.
You know what I loved about the game, Coach? Y'all threw the whole kitchen sink at it, onside, flea flickers. You know what? It was like, it was clear and it was obvious that y'all came to win. It was that's what, to me, what was the best part about that game.
Yeah, Rudy, I would hope you see that in my team every time we play. I just didn't want it to be like a gimmick game. Yeah, I know I did the onside kick, which is something we don't generally do, but it was the right call at the right time. I'm never going to fake a punt or a field goal unless it's
right.
there. We're going to take it if it's there. So I don't want it to be like, wow, that was gimmicky, because we really feel like that's probably our 12th play we've been here. It was just on a much bigger stage where everybody saw it. If you go back and watch all of our 3 seasons here together, those things show up about every third or fourth game.
Right.
Coach Jeff Traylor joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star, coming off a 41-20 defeat, an extraordinary first half of football, followed by just some depth and a couple of key issues in the second half. But, the thread today will be, hey, we competed, and I appreciate hearing, hey, man, we're beyond just competing. We're in there to win, and the play calling showed that. As you head toward the rest of the season, depth is certainly going to play a role. Talk about what the week is like for your training staff, guys. I mean, it's going to be a busy one in that room. How do you handle practice with your 1s and 2s, and how do you start balancing the injuries that are obviously piling up?
Yeah, we'll make more defensive decisions today when we get these results back. Obviously, if it's MRIs, they're going to be out for a while no matter what. We just got to be smart and keep getting better. So I'll know more after today.
Looking forward, Coach. You got, of course, you talked about being battle tested. You got Texas Southern coming up. I know it's as a coach, when you play Houston, you play Army, you play UT. I think it's like it comes down to coaching as far as like, hey, let's not take the rest of these guys lightly. Is that, other than the injuries, is that also a part of keeping your team like, hey, let's stay ready? This team is going to come to beat us. We are a part of the hunted now because of the success that we've had.
Well, you sound like you're in my meeting yesterday, my players. I think the first 3 games, we have uncharacteristically made some pre-snap penalties that make me mad as a coach. But I do believe it's because of the excitement of each week. Houston, unbelievable, energy in that place. We made some pre-snap mistakes. Army on the road, pre-snap mistakes. Texas, that was the most incredible home field advantage I've ever played, against in my career. This week, is it going to be lack of focus? Is it going to be arrogant? We've got to clean up the pre-snap stuff. I can't be sitting here telling y'all that this week we're not focused. Well, why'd you have those mistakes the first 3 weeks? Well, we were too focused. Well, hell, which one is it, Coach? We've got to keep getting better again.
Being favored is a different animal, and you talk about just minding your game and preparing for all that. Last year it was the cheese. Don't take the cheese.
Absolutely.
And now, as a front runner, addressing that, being you're going to be a pretty significant favorite coming up this weekend.
It's totally different.
Do you approach practices different? Are you a little bit tougher when you're coming into that, or is it because you're so injured, it's just going to be a week of rehab and prep and trying to get yourself well and still deal with a pretty good football team in Texas Southern?
Well, there's always common sense involved in making the practice schedule, but what never changes is our brand. Hashtag looked up. We play to that standard. We cannot play to Texas or Houston or Army. It doesn't matter. It's the nameless face opponent. We're always playing UTSA. We cannot lose that. We're playing to represent the brand, and we hope the brand shows up Saturday.
How, because we watch the games and I see you on the sideline. How much do you just let Will and Matt, speaking of your offensive coordinator and co-offensive coordinator, do you just leave it to them? Or at any time do you look over there, hey, run the damn ball. Hey, let's take a shot. Or do you just say you just stay out of the way and then y'all talk about it in the coaching meetings?
We're all involved in the plan. We really go over the 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. I let Will and Matt call it. Obviously, I'm involved in it. There are things in there that I am giving them direction on. But I just found, Rudy, it's better for me to be proactive and meet with defensive coordinator, offensive coordinators, special teams coordinators, make sure we all agree on what the plan's going to be. And when we get in the game, let the guys that have the time to micromanage their positions, be the expert, and get out of the way until I'm needed to get in the way. And I've been with those guys so long, we understand how it flows. Will and Matt are the ones calling it. I just call the ones that don't work. They call the ones that do
work. Coach, he's running in front of a totally different offensive line. How much better do you think Brady can get? I mean, again, he's not running in front of the line McCormick was, and McCormick is a unicorn in itself. But how much better do you feel like y'all can get at running the ball? Because it seems like ever since week one, it's been a focus. No matter, hey, if it's 1 yard, it's 2 yards, we're still going to keep running the ball. How much better do you feel like y'all can get throughout the year with offensive line and Brady running the ball?
I think I'm gonna hire Rudy to coach and know what's going on. I agree with you. We have improved so much there. If you'd have told me going into the game, Rudy, I'd have been mad on 4th and 1. I did not run inside zone. If you'd have told me when the game was over, I'd have been mad. I did not run the ball in the red zone more. I would have told you you're crazy. There's no way we can run the ball against that guy. Man, we should have ran the ball more, Rudy. We should have handed it off more. That's on me.
You know, I appreciate you. Now, I know you want that 4th and 1 back, but it's the heat of the moment. Like I couldn't imagine.
Well, we threw it to our best player, and he put it on the ground for the second time on the exact same play. I mean, that kid, you've watched him. We've all celebrated for as long as we've been here. I'm gonna keep throwing it to him. I don't in any way regret that choice. I regret that I did not believe in my O-line and my running back more, because they have gained a lot of confidence in our staff right now, how they're running the ball.
Hey, Coach, tell us about Texas Southern.
Yep.
They got talent. They're got players out there. A lot of kids from Houston. The deal is, like it is every week, we've got to play ourselves. We've got to keep getting better. We got to get to these injuries right now and keep getting better. Got too many pre-snap penalties that I'm tired of seeing, defensively and offensively. And we got to get that cleaned up.
Well, Coach, congratulations on a hard-fought game. It didn't turn out the way we wanted, but we get another one this week. Good luck in practice. Stay healthy. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it. God bless. Birds up. See y'all Saturday.